Muslim growth rate in European nations such as Belgium has 139.8% growth rate. Czech Republic has 300% growth. Netherlands saw 165.7%. Poland has 233.3%. Spain has 276.8%. Sweden has 206.8%. And UK, United Kingdom, saw 144.8% growth increase. So the increase range is about 140 to 300 percentage between 19 and 2010.
Namaste everybody, welcome to Citti Media. This is your host Citti. Let me take a moment to wish all our brothers and sisters across India a very happy Raksha Bandhan. On that note, we are joined by somebody very special today. He is a contributor to Organizer, he's a research scholar at NIT Surat, and he regularly tweets and writes about current affairs and politics. Please allow me to welcome Gopal Goswami ji. Namaste ji.
Namaskar, Sarandi. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Raksha Bandhan ki aapko bhi hardik shubhkamnaएं. I'm good. Hope you're enjoying your day.
Absolutely, sir. काम तो चलना ही चाहिए. So we are doing this. Gopal ji, on that note, let me begin my first question. We are talking about the Uttar Pradesh Population Control Bill 2021. Now, obviously, this has risen a lot of debate in the media, and a lot of people have been voicing a lot of sentiments for and against it. Could you, in brief, tell us what this bill actually seeks to achieve?
Saranji, actually, if you see, there is a provision in Article 14 that nobody should be deprived of any basic right in Indian Constitution clearly. So when we talk about basic rights, we must have the basic duties in our mind.
Right.
So the basic rights comes from the basic duties. It arises from there. What we are doing right now, since last 75 years of independence, we have kept these rights in mind only. We can see very often now and then people are coming on the street demanding things like blah, blah, blah. But we don't remember the basic duties towards our motherland, towards our country, towards our society, towards our neighborhood, anything you call it. So why this situation have come up? That one elected government has to introduce such bills which will apparently a measure to curb the population. Now, if you see it against Muslims only, then we can't help it out. But there are certain reasons why we have to believe that this bill is targeted to Muslims only too. But in larger context and in larger benefits of the country and society, we must analyze this bill in the interest of people of this country and this society of this country. Whether what we are doing, the pace, the population, the rate of growth of population, what we currently seeing is hazardous. The population need not to be controlled, but it should be stopped. We are at that situation. Right. This is population blast. The population blast has been coined in back 60s by some writers in Europe. So from there, India has seen about 100% and more than 100% increase in its population. It was about 30 to 35 crores at the time of independence. But now currently we are 135, or we can say more than 4 times, 400 times we have grown. Recently, I have done one article, and it is so coincident that you have asked on this topic. So it is a little easier for me to elaborate on this issue. Right. Why this need has come up. I was going through some statistics. So I have seen a PW research report. It was out in 2011. It was composite data for from 1991 to 2011 census. from the world over. They have studied the growth of Muslim population in different countries of the world. So I would like to put these data on your channel, in front of you. So then you decide, and your viewers can decide whether it is important to introduce such bills or not. So let's take a look at the global Muslim population growth rate in the last. The data is from 1981 to 2011, and it was published by PUW Research Center on January 27, 2011. This report says Muslim growth rate in European nations such as Belgium has 139.8% growth rate. Czech Republic has 300% growth. Netherlands saw 165.7%. Poland has 233.3%. Spain has 276.8%. Sweden has 206.8%. And UK, United Kingdom, saw 144.8% growth increase. So the increase range is about 140 to 300 percentage between 19 and 2010. Germany is the only country where the growth rate is in 2 digits, and few other countries we'll discuss about them, the reasons why they could curb the situation. But if you see the population growth rate at the same time, say for the same period in Muslim countries, so it is around, for I will name the countries. You can see country like Bangladesh. Bangladesh has only 45.5% of growth rate in the same period of time, 20 years. Egypt had 40.5% growth. Indonesia, the largest Muslim country, 32.4% growth rate. Iran has 32.4% growth rate, surprisingly. Kuwait has 34.1%, and Pakistan has 58.6% growth rate, and Saudi also has 58.4%. Turkey, the European Muslim country, has 35.4% only, and Syria has 88.4%. So these are the big Muslim countries where these are not small countries. We can ignore the data. So it cannot be the coincident, So many Muslim countries, the biggest Muslim countries in the world, have less than 50% of growth rate in the same 20 years.
Right.
So what is the reason?
Right.
Why it is so?
Gopalji, even if we were to give the benefit of the doubt to the government that it has good intentions in mind, and that brings me to my second question. Many political critics say that the government is, why target the poor? Because you can target government employees and say that we are going to cut off your increments and other pensions. But why are you targeting the poor by cutting off the subsidies? Because the government has to look after the poor is what the opposition is saying.
You are absolutely right. The government has to look after the to the poor. But if the poor wants to be poorer, then what you will do? See, the maximum growth comes from the poorer class, the government employees, the other people who are a little bit in the mainstream and who are doing corporate jobs and all. They don't have that much growth rate. So the growth rate belongs to the poorer only, and they have been fed with the software. See, if you have a thing in mind, you have a doctrine in mind, that until the last person turned out or comes to be Muslim, it convert to Muslim, the jihad will be on. And the basic thing that the motive of your life, like what we Hindus say, that moksha prapti is our ultimate goal of the life. Whatever we do for the livelihood, whatever growth we attain in terms of material, ultimate goal for every Hindu is moksha.
Yes.
But the other party has something different in its mind. They have in the mind that all the people of this world must turn into Muslim, and this whole world should become a Muslim country. So when this basic thought is in your mind, and becoming engineer or doctor or professor is secondary,
right,
then what the government should do? How the government will tackle this menace?
right.
See, the population comes up with the growth of God, Allah, and He will feed them. See what happens. One Hindu family, if you start from me onward, when I
Mhm.
will reach 16 people in my downstream in terms of population, my fellow brother, Muslim brother, will reach 96.
Right.
I can show the data. I can prove it on paper. It is
Yes.
a trend. So what you will do? What tools you have other than this in
Right.
democratic country? We are not autocratic country like Russia and China. The other growth rate I was talking about is Russia. Russia has very less, around 40% of growth, and China also have around same growth rate.
Mhm.
We are aware that how they treated Chechen Muslims.
Yes.
When USSR was united, then Chechnya was the place where the Muslim extremists were in very much
Right.
in existence, and they treated them well. And almost now, no one talks about Chechen Muslims. And what treatment China is giving to Uyghur Muslim right now? They are de-radicalizing them.
Right.
They are putting them in concentration camps, de-radicalization camps. They are not allowed to grow beards. They are not allowed to wear skull caps or burqa. They are not allowed to do namaz. They are not allowed to fast on Ramjan. We are
Right.
not doing all these things. We are just doing what is better for your welfare. Means the population with the target population. If they have limited family, they can do better. They can have good life. They can do better education for their children. Their children will have a better future. But no, they don't want these all things. They want everything, subsidies, the medical health, the education, everything from government, free of cost, and don't want to contribute towards the government exchequer, a single pie. So in democratic countries, we don't have other option left out, but to do what the incentive and incentives for the population control. China did one child policy. Ultimately, now they are at three child policy. But you know what? Some I was going through some reports of Indian Express or something that they were telling that this is not a problem of this generation. This this is not a problem that we are growing at this pace. The Muslims are becoming more in population, but
Mhm.
with the they wanted to establish that with two-child policy also, the population growth will not decrease. Citing the reason that we have lot of people who are going to produce two children. The very thought itself is evident that the more number of parents will result into more number of future children.
Right.
You know, it is as simple as. But a newspaper like Indian Express is telling that this is the story that is not we are not going to buy. And
Right.
people, if at all you impose two-child policy also, then also the population growth will be same. So
Mhm.
if imposing two child policy will not affect the population growth, then not increasing will happen? It will have a blast.
Right.
So government have these measures only. They can disallow them to enter into some benefits
Right.
to get the benefits and all that. That tool, only tool that is the only tool democracy has to
Right.
implement.
So the options that we can have to limit the population growth in a democracy is very limited, is what you say.
Yes.
But Gopalji, if I were to go into the intricacies of the bill and the language of the bill, now one of the legal website, Live Law, it says that the bill incentivizes sterilization,
Hmm.
and some of the legal experts actually say that this may be in a direct constitutional violation of Article 14. What do you have to say about that?
That is very good question. Actually, we are on the one hand, we have Sharia law in place. First of all, we should ask that which constitution we are talking about, whether they are adhering to this constitution. Today, they are flaunting that Taliban has captured Afghanistan. Indian Muslim, the intellectual class, are supporting the steps taken by Islam, this Taliban Muslim terrorists. So we are dealing with such kind of people who are having Sharia law in one hand. We also have two laws. Muslim have their personal law. They use this constitution conveniently for their benefits. Times when the time is there to get benefits of this democracy, they will give you the say that this constitution have this provision. But at the same time, while treating with their families, their women's, their children's, and other brethren, fellow Indians, they keep Sharia uh, prior to this constitution. Then we are treating such peoples. Then that language has to be targeted. See, the problem with us, we Hindus, in Indian people, are we have always tried to protect Islam, Islamic atrocities. We are always in defense of these things. If somebody is saying, see, if that Shire, what is his name? I don't remember exactly. But he said that Taliban are better than India. What is happening in India? That means the Narendra Modi regime and Yogi Adityanath regime is worse than the Taliban. What he meant to say. And you know the what provision for women this Islam has. What Taliban Muslim terrorists are doing right now is complete in toto with the Islamic provision.
Right.
For them, women are only to be used as a commodity. Quran says Allah has produced women for your entertainment. Use them at your convenience as you wish them. So for them, the women are not even human. There was a conference. Then there was one progressive Muslim leaders conference in Saudi Arabia back 5 to 7 years back.
Okay.
They have come to one conclusion that women are mammals. So one journalist in New York Times or some newspaper, she has written an article about that. That Islam has come to a great point that they have considered women as mammals. So she got a backlash. Bloody, what you are talking? Women are mammals? Then again, she has written a rebuttal that you don't know what position Islam gives to the women, their women. So it's something better. They at least considering them as a human living being, not human, living being. Until now, they were considered as a commodity. So we are dealing with such people. We are dealing with people who the Raja, or who is the fellow MP from Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi MP. He was appreciating like anything the Taliban.
Yes.
So what will happen if they come into majority? Why this population control bill is needed?
Gopalji, that brings me to my next question, and I'm really sorry to cut you off because it's very important. I mean, it is very true what you said. A lot of the points are valid because what we see today, the top leadership of the Taliban in Afghanistan is inspired by the Deobandi School of Islam, and that is just a few hours away from Delhi. And that is the scary situation that we are living in. But, you know, a lot of Muslim leaders, including a lot of Muslim parties, I'm sure you'll know which ones, so I don't have to name it, are telling that the population control bill is of double standards by the Yogi Adityanath government because of two reasons. One is that it says that it targets minority population alone, and on the other hand, the BJP and RSS leaders actually go out and gives call to the Hindu people saying that they need to reproduce more. Of course, they are trying to like isolate a few people. But what are your comments on this? Is this actually communal in nature?
See, it is all about how you take it. We see is at a measure to control the population. Now, the point what you have talked about calling people for more children, having more children, is a repercussion. Just a call that alarms you. It is all about alarming you that this menace is coming. You be ready to fight it. It's not, no Hindu is going to have 3-4 children. Hindus have started a single child policy, boy or girl. Many Hindu I know in my neighborhood and my friend circle, they are having single child. No Hindu is having 4 children nowadays. And Hindu will not go to any call. Whatever, if Shankaracharya ji says it, then also they will not adhere to this. This doctrine, this dictating, this fatwa politics is the fatwa dharma is not Sanatana. We have independent, though I am a religious person, I am fully devoted to my faith, but I will examine it within my knowledge also.
Right.
What the leader is telling. So if you are see this population control is equally going to hammer everyone. Be Hindu, be Muslim, be Parsi, be Sikh, be Isai, everyone. So how you can say that this is communal and targeted to one majority? Because they are doing this thing, that's why they are in. You are treating that you are the target. So you first recognize that this is the problem within us. Then you will not be offended with this bill. It is for the welfare of this country. It is welfare for the 135 crore people. Otherwise, we will not have to eat, to live places. You know, despite doing this much of development work in the last 75 years, we are not having good urinals at public places because what? We don't have time to clean it. The cleaner don't find a single minute the toilet vacated. How he will clean it? Because the rush of people is so immense because of the population at every public place. It is not possible. So we have to judiciously think that what is good for us, what is bad for us, and then decide it is good or bad. And communalizing the bill is totally, again, favoring the Muslims. If we are not seeing the problem coming, then we must see to the countries. Today we are talking about UP, Hindu and Muslims. But who fighting whom in Afghanistan? Afghanistan is Islamic country. Both parties are Islamist. Then why people are fleeing there?
Yes.
What is the reason? So we must keep these things in mind and see what is happening within the Islamic countries. We are more peaceful country. We are a better country, and we wish to keep it better.
Right.
This morning I have tweeted one thing that people coming from Muslim people, oppressed by Muslim people in Muslim countries, coming to India, and then they demand this country must be Islamized, Muslims. What is the thing? From where this wisdom comes? And you know, Saudi Arabia has given some scholarship to countries who embrace their refugees, Afghanistan refugees. But they will not take it. Turkey has started putting a boundary wall on eastern boundary. They are not going to take them. If you can see, Syrian refugees, they have migrated to Europe. They crossed Turkey. Why? Why they didn't stop at Turkey? Because this is a systematic thing. If we are not seeing it coming, then our future will be in big dark.
Right. Gopalji, thank you so much for raising those very interesting points. And I think beyond the spectrum of a doubt, this is much more than just a bill that aims at population control. And of course, the language of the bill does not discriminate anybody, whether it's Hindus or Muslims, because that does not entail anything. It just speaks about the details of what incentives and disincentives you were talking about. Thank you so much for taking us through all those details. It was a real pleasure talking to you. And happy Raksha Bandhan once again to everyone who's watching us. Namaste Gopalji, thank you so much for joining us. And to all our viewers watching this, please do like, share and subscribe. This is your host Sharan Citti signing off.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.